best mum. The year 2008 is not a good year for the Mathews family from Dewsbury, West Yorkshire. 9-year-old Shannon Louise Mathews is a happy child, even though her life circumstances are quite complicated. The cute girl with the round face and bright brown eyes that peeked out from under her fringe is still too young to be interested in the chart hits of Rihanna, Coldplay, Pink or Kid Rock. Perhaps she dreams, like other girls, have her own pony, dressing up as a princess, or watching Madagascar 2 in the cinema. She loves dogs. Shannon comes from a lower-class family, as is common in the Yorkshire region. The unemployment rate here is around 5.9%, a whole percentage point higher than the national average. On the other hand, the average annual salary of people who have a job is considerably lower, namely £4,000 less. Shannon's mother, 32-year-old Karen Mathews, lives on welfare benefits and has been dreaming for some time now of having better fortune and leading a rich, carefree life. But the reality couldn't be more different. She is the mother of 7 children from 5 different fathers. The youngest comes from her current boyfriend Craig Meehan. The 22-year-old man works as a supermarket fishmonger. Karen's parents are unhappy about the relationship. They feel that Karen has changed since then. The fact is, however, that despite their low income, the two of them do indulge themselves in life. In their shared apartment there are 3 computers and also a widescreen TV. But what nobody suspects yet, on the 19th of February, 2008 something is supposed to happen that will turn life in Dewsbury upside down completely and create a media interest beyond the borders of Great Britain. For almost 4 weeks there will be a state of emergency in the city, and it all begins on that day with a phone call at 6:48 p.m. Shannon has her usual swimming lessons at Westborough Primary School until 3 p.m. that afternoon. The school is just half a mile, a good 800 meters, from her home, which is why she is making her own way home. At 3:10 p.m. she is seen for the last time in front of the school. It takes Shannon about 20 minutes to get home, but she does not arrive. Maybe she met up with a friend and went to her home? Around 6:48 p.m., Karen calls the West Yorkshire police and reports the 9-year-old as missing. The news spread like wildfire because Mathews has first checked with everyone her daughter might be staying with. They in turn pass it on, hoping to track down Shannon. Everyone hopes and prays that Shannon has not become the victim of a child molester. The search action, which is now starting immediately, is unparalleled. It will cost the police around £3.2 million. And the population is also eager to help the search, doing its utmost to help find the child and comforting the desperate mother. All West Yorkshire suffers with her, because the thought that the little girl might have been the victim of a crime is unbearable for all parents. Heaven and hell are being blustered about, trying to find the girl. More than 200 police officers are on duty, about 1,500 car, truck and motorcycle drivers are questioned, and a total of 3,000 houses are searched. Hundreds of neighbors are also supporting the search and combing through the surrounding forests and fields. When the search remains fruitless even after 14 days, the police force is increased on the 5th of March. This is also a reaction to the increasing public desperation, suffering, and the grief of the mother. The police officers are in a similar situation, and in this respect the increased search effort has their full support. Now, 250 officers and 60 detectives are searching for Shannon. Even 16 search dogs are in use, although there are only 27 in the whole of Great Britain in 2008. The police have also launched 2 websites asking for help. Everyone knows that time is running out. It has been proven that the more time passes, the less likely it is to find a child alive and unharmed. The whole of Britain is enthralled. The media, especially the tabloids, are reporting in detail the case, possibly under the impression of the kidnapping of little Madeleine McCann in Portugal, who also disappeared without trace. In this case, everyone is still hoping for a happy ending. Karen is repeatedly asked for interviews and statements. There is hardly a newspaper or TV station where she is not present. Oftentimes, her partner, Craig, is present. The appearances of the desperate mother with appeals to the kidnappers are touching. She begs that she be given back her beloved girl. She even prays publicly that Shannon should reappear safe and sound. These pictures move the British very much, although it is also pointed out that the lower-class mum, with 7 children from 5 different fathers, is unfortunately not able to present herself as well as the wealthy McCanns. Nevertheless, the public willingness to help is unbroken. The newspaper, The Sun, is offering a £20,000 reward for information leading to Shannon's safe return home. On the 10th of March, when the little girl has already been missing for 20 days, the amount is increased to a sensational £50,000. A company in Huddersfield, just a short distance from Dewsbury, also offers £5,000 as a reward. No one suspects at this stage that the perpetrators have gambled on these precise acts of generosity. Meanwhile, the police are investigating in all directions, but among other things, Shannon's family environment is also being targeted. After all, family members are often involved in cases of child abduction. Especially Michael Donovan, Craig's uncle, who is increasingly under surveillance, as is the mother herself. In the interviews, they repeatedly surprise the investigators with new explanations and become increasingly entangled in contradictions. In the end, 6 different versions are told. And the mother's behavior is also increasingly erratic. A liaison officer of the police is very surprised at how the woman, who is so worried and in tears in the media, acts in her own 4 walls when it comes to the disappearance of her daughter. She barely looks up when the policewoman comes into the house but prefers to continue playing with her partner on the Xbox. And when the policewoman's phone rings, the ringing tone is a popular pop song. Karen suddenly gets up and starts dancing to the sound. At times, despair and worry are completely blown away. On the 24th day, things finally start to move. At 12:30 on the 14th of March 2008, the police gain access to a house in nearby Lychard Gardens, Batley Car, the home of 39-year-old Michael Donovan. He is the uncle of Karen's partner, Craig Meehan. The police search the filthy apartment building and have the right nose. Under a bed they make a shocking discovery. Here lies 9-year-old Shannon Mathews drugged and tied up so she can't run away. Someone has tied her to a beam with an elastic rope. The girl is struggling to articulate herself and keeps passing out. Donovan, who is in the house, is arrested on the spot. For the policeman it is clear, either he is the sole kidnapper, or he is at least significantly involved in the kidnapping. However, something else disturbing is discovered: the laptop of Karen's partner Craig Meehan, and 136 child pornography images are stored on it. Investigators are appalled. The police immediately suspect that others may be involved in the kidnapping. So, they take the little girl into custody and hand her over to the local youth welfare office. In Britain, Section 46 of the Children Act 1989 allows the police to hold children in custody for up to 72 hours for their protection. But even on the 17th of March, Shannon does not return to her mother. When the little girl is asked if she would like to, she denies it vehemently and explains to the police officers that she would rather just be with her favorite cat. Instead, the severely traumatized Shannon is put into a foster family. She suffers from violent nightmares and needs intensive psychiatric care. The police questioning of the child takes several weeks. What the public has not yet suspected, the news around Karen Mathews is tightening more and more. Incriminating evidence is emerging that suggests that the mother is not as uninvolved in the bizarre abduction as she would like to make out. Craig Meehan's mother, for example, records a strange phone conversation in which a voice is heard in the background that sounds strongly like Shannon's. Karen tells the person in the background to keep quiet. And finally, Karen herself confesses to her friends that she has been involved in the crime on a car ride with acquaintances. She blabs out. Shocked, the acquaintances confront Karen with their suspicions, whereupon she explains that she and Donovan have conspired. His job was to take care of her daughter, but unfortunately, everything went wrong. What Karen does not suspect is that the police are already so suspicious of the victim's family that this car is being bugged. The recorded confession is the last missing piece of the puzzle in the investigation. Karen Mathews will be arrested immediately. When the hoax comes out, the public's mood changes. The fellow citizens are extremely upset and feel cheated. Instead of sympathy and understanding, hate now fills the headlines. A real public shitstorm breaks out over Karen Mathews. Among other things, she is called the mother of Alice. How can a mother do such a horrible thing to her daughter? The opinion of the chief investigator of the West Yorkshire Police Force Andy B is clear: Karen Mathews is pure evil, and in the newspapers Karen is titled Britain's worst mother. Even years later, in 2020, the British press still keeps a close eye on this woman, informs the public of her every step, of course, with devotion, about every misstep. During the court case, the terrible truth about the conspiracy comes to light. It is revealed that such feelings as motherly love and parental guidance are obviously foreign to Karen Mathews. In fact, It appears that Donovan and Mathews merely staged the entire kidnapping story in order to collect a large reward and make themselves rich. The fact that they ended up waiving in excess of £50,000 was a particularly pleasant side effect, but it was only as a result of public interest and sympathy. The two planned to release Karen's daughter unharmed in the end. Donovan would then pretend to have discovered her by chance and go to a police station with the girl. The reward he was then entitled to was to be split between him and Karen. Whoever would have thought that the two accomplices would protect each other and would rather remain silent than betray the other would be severely disappointed. There is no such thing as honor among thieves here. So, Donovan tries to exonerate himself by going on record that he was only supposed to take care of Shannon for a few days. Karen had even threatened him with violence if he didn't play along. She, on the other hand, said in tears on November 27 that she had nothing whatsoever to do with the kidnapping. Instead, her partner Craig Meehan ordered her to take the blame under threat of violence. On cross-examination, the prosecutor therefore tells her that she is telling one lie after another. But that's not all. Karen even tries to drag her mother into the whole thing. Allegedly, she knew where Shannon was all along. A conversation with her father is supposed to serve as proof. June Mathews, Karen's mother, can refute this accusation, however, because until his funeral, Karen demonstrably had no contact with her father. It is also shocking what the forensic toxicologist who examined Shannon's hair has to report. It turns out that she was not only drugged during the 24 days, but that she had already been regularly administered benzodiazepine, or temazepam to be precise, and probably had been for up to 20 months. This has a strong sedative effect and is therefore used as a sleeping pill. However, these drugs become addictive after a short time. With regard to Craig Meehan, it turns out that he is not involved in the kidnapping conspiracy. Because of the child pornographic content his computer he on receives a prison sentence of 20 weeks. However, numerous questions arise regarding his person. What kind of relationship did the 22-year-old and the older Karen Mathews have if he was not privy to the whole thing? Shouldn't he have noticed something, for example her sometimes rather emotionally uninvolved behavior? And is there possibly a connection with his obviously existing pedophile preferences? Meehan's exact role will raise many questions in public discourse in the period to come. Finally, on the 4th of December, sentences will be handed down at Leeds Crown Court. Donovan is guilty of kidnapping and false imprisonment. Mathews is guilty of child abuse and obstruction of justice. Both are each sentenced to 8 years imprisonment. The judge described this act as truly abominable in the sentencing. In addition, Karen is deprived of custody of all 7 children, who were placed in different foster families. For their protection, Shannon and the others are also given a new identity. Karen is lucky in the end. After just 4 years she is released from prison in 2012. She also receives a new identity for protection and moves to the southwest of England, where she wants to build a new life for herself. Not only has she changed her appearance, but she has become a born-again Christian and works in the social sector. She also hopes to get in touch with her children again. However, it turns out that even now Karen is still hard on the edge of legality. She loses her job after becoming too close to the husband of a pensioner whose wife she was caring for. On another occasion, she was discovered selling donated food to homeless people. An old friend of Mathews, Julie Bushby, has recently spoken out. She is convinced that Karen at least cannot have been the main culprit in the kidnapping conspiracy and even publicly demands a retrial. Bushby sees Mathews more as a kind of victim and suspects that she wanted to separate from Craig Meehan and move out of the shared apartment. That's why she had let Shannon move in with Meehan's uncle in advance, but due to pressure from friends and family, she backed off from the separation at the last moment and thought up the kidnapping was an attempt to explain her daughter's disappearance. Bushby, however, also believes that Mathews could not have conceived of such a complex deception. Truth or the attempt to see something good in an old friend? At Christmas 2019, Karen Mathews gets engaged to a craftsman. Months earlier, she had told journalists, "I'm not the worst mother in Britain." Her reasoning is astounding: "I didn't kill anyone." She actually believes this, because on her bedside table there is a decorative object, of the type sold in gift shops, souvenir shops and also in supermarkets. It bears a squiggly, sentimental lettering decorated with bright colors, and it stands next to a photo of Mathews' children, who have long since wanted nothing more to do with her. The ornament reads, "Best Mum."